I just started the second half of The Two Towers in my Lord of the Rings reread here. The chapter was called The Taming of Sméagol, and it's where we finally catch up with how Sam and Frodo were doing, because we have not seen them since the breaking of the Fellowship at the end of the last book. Tolkien does this very unusual thing with his structuring, where in The Two Towers and Return of the King, he breaks the book in half and dedicates one half of the book to one set of characters before alternating to the next set of characters in the back half. There's no intercutting like a typical story would do, and in The Two Towers, I think that's very effective. The characters are very far apart from each other, they don't know how they're doing, and so spending so long with each set really emphasizes that. It also works because they have different goals. Frodo and Sam are making straight for Mordor, or as straight as they can anyway, and Aragorn and company get into a whole host of other adventures that are related but not exactly the same. The same structuring, though, completely fails to land in Return of the King. It completely kills the momentum. They're all converging on the same point, so why would you jump back weeks in time? It's very strange, but I'll save that for way later when we come to it. For now, though, my friend had been wondering where Sam and Frodo was. This was her first time reading Lord of the Rings, so she was like, why aren't we cutting back to them? I want to know how they're doing. And I kept thinking to myself, you're going to regret that, because the Sam and Frodo sections are far more tedious and slow-paced than the stuff with Aragorn and company. We see them lost in the mountains, they're clambering around, they're overwhelmed, they're not making progress because they keep going in circles. And, after a certain point, I get it, okay? You don't need to keep hammering on this. You don't need to draw out their every action. There's this very extended sequence where they're trying to clamber down a cliffside. They walk along it for hours trying to find a way down, and then Frodo decides to try climbing down with his bare hands, and he gets stuck on a ledge and shrouded in this mystical darkness, and maybe there's a Nazgul, and then while he's on the ledge, Sam's like, oh, I have rope. Climb back on up. We get the rope. We go back down. Like, it doesn't need to be drawn out as much as it is. And then we get to the good stuff. They get down the cliff, and then Gollum comes straight after them, right vertical down the cliff. And it's this very creepy visual where he's compared to a spider in the moonlight. And in fact, I illustrated this scene years ago on this collaborative project I did with other artists to illustrate Lord of the Rings. And yeah, it's great. The dynamic between these three characters is definitely the highlight. When these sections are not tedious, you can at least have fun with that. They're now using Gollum as a guide, but they do not trust him, so it's very tense. Anyway, that's where I am in Lord of the Rings. Follow along for my next updates.